Good afternoon. Dr. Rachna Bhargav, Madam, Professor of Clinical Psychology at एम्स दिल्ली. ऑनलाइन जुड़े हुए हमारे डॉक्टर राजेश सागर, प्रोफेसर ऑफ साइकियाट्री, एम्स दिल्ली. डॉक्टर के मदन गोपाल, एडवाइज़र, नेशनल हेल्थ सिस्टम रिसोर्स सेंटर. सरकारी विभागों के प्रतिनिधि, मेंबर्स ऑफ द लीगल फ्रेटर्निटी, मेंटल हेल्थ प्रोफेशनल्स, एकेडमिक्स, सिविल सोसाइटी ऑर्गेनाइजेशंस के रिप्रेजेंटेटिव्स और देश भर से हमारे साथ ऑनलाइन माध्यम से जुड़े प्रतिभागियों को नमस्कार. मेंटल हेल्थ एंड एक्सेस टू जस्टिस, ब्रिजिंग लॉ, केयर एंड ह्यूमन डिग्निटी विषय पर आज के राष्ट्रीय वेबिनार में मैं आप सभी का स्वागत करता हूं और सभी प्रतिभागियों के प्रति हार्दिक आभार व्यक्त करता हूं जो इस बेहद महत्वपूर्ण विषय पर विचार विमर्श करने के लिए हमारे साथ जुड़े हैं. Everyone, including persons with mental illness, deserves dignity and has equal rights and legal protection. As you may be aware, Supreme Court of India in its various judgments has declared that mental health is not just a matter of policy or welfare. It is a constitutional guarantee under the right to life. The right to life under Article 21 includes the right to live with human dignity, which includes both physical and mental health. यह वेबिनार मिनिस्ट्री ऑफ लॉ एंड जस्टिस के डिपार्टमेंट ऑफ जस्टिस की दिशा स्कीम डिजाइनिंग इनोवेटिव सॉल्यूशंस फॉर होलिस्टिक एक्सेस टू जस्टिस के लीगल लिटरेसी एंड लीगल अवेयरनेस प्रोग्राम के तहत आयोजित किया जा रहा है. दिशा स्कीम का उद्देश्य नागरिकों को उनके अधिकारों और उनके लिए उपलब्ध कानूनी उपायों की जानकारी देकर लीगल अवेयरनेस को बढ़ावा देना और न्याय तक पहुंच को मजबूत करना है. लीगल लिटरेसी एंड लीगल अवेयरनेस प्रोग्राम का मेंटल हेल्थ केयर एक्ट 2017 के तहत उपलब्ध अधिकारों, पात्रताओं, सुरक्षा और शिकायत निवारण के लिए उपलब्ध तंत्र के बारे में जागरूकता पैदा करता है. दिशा स्कीम के टेली लॉ प्रोग्राम के माध्यम से नागरिक जन सेवा केंद्र, कॉमन सर्विस सेंटर्स, टेली लॉ टोल फ्री नंबर 14454 और टेली लॉ मोबाइल एप्लीकेशन के माध्यम से फ्री प्री लिटिगेशन लीगल एडवाइस ले सकते हैं. मानसिक स्वास्थ्य से संबंधित कानूनी चिंताओं जैसे कि राइट्स, गार्जियनशिप, डिस्क्रिमिनेशन, एक्सेस टू हेल्थ सर्विसेज या सामाजिक कल्याण हेतु पात्रता से जुड़े मुद्दों का सामना कर रहे व्यक्तियों और परिवारों के लिए ये सेवाएं कानूनी मार्गदर्शन प्राप्त करने का एक सुलभ मंच प्रदान करती हैं. न्याय बंधु प्रो बोनो लीगल सर्विसेज प्रोग्राम कानूनी पेशेवरों को, जरूरतमंद लोगों को स्वेच्छा से विधिक सहायता प्रदान करने के लिए प्रोत्साहित करके न्याय तक पहुंच को और मजबूती प्रदान करता है. मेंटल हेल्थ ओवरऑल हेल्थ एंड वेलबींग का एक अभिन्न अंग है. फिर भी भेदभाव और जागरूकता की कमी के कारण कई व्यक्ति समय पर देखभाल प्राप्त करने और अपने कानूनी अधिकारों का उपयोग करने से वंचित रह जाते हैं. आज के वेबिनार का उद्देश्य मेंटल हेल्थ के बारे में जागरूकता बढ़ाना, मानसिक स्वास्थ्य सेवा से संबंधित कानूनी सुरक्षा उपायों और नीतिगत ढांचे पर प्रकाश डालना और शीघ्र पहचान तथा समय पर हस्तक्षेप को प्रोत्साहित करना, स्वास्थ्य और न्याय क्षेत्रों के बीच सहयोग को बढ़ावा देना है ताकि यह सुनिश्चित किया जा सके कि हर व्यक्ति सम्मान के साथ जीवन जी सके और वह देखभाल, सुरक्षा तथा कानूनी सहायता तक पहुंच सके जिसका वह हकदार है. मुझे पूरा विश्वास है कि आज के विचार विमर्श से बहुमूल्य परिणाम प्राप्त होंगे. इन शब्दों के साथ मैं एक बार फिर आप सभी का स्वागत करता हूं. मुझे आशा है कि ये सत्र सार्थक और उपयोगी होगा. बहुत बहुत धन्यवाद.
थैंक यू सर. मेंटल हेल्थ एंड एक्सेस टू जस्टिस, इस विषय की महत्ता पे सर ने अच्छे से प्रकाश भी डाला और ये जग जाहिर भी है. यह एक अत्यंत ही संवेदनशील मुद्दा है जिसका जुड़ाव संविधान के उन अनुच्छेदों से है जो राइट टू लाइफ एंड डिग्निटी की बात कहते हैं. सरकार ने कई पहल किए हैं मेंटल हेल्थ को ध्यान में रखते हुए, जिसमें से कि इफ आई टेक यू टू सेक्शन 27 ऑफ मेंटल हेल्थ केयर एक्ट 2017 एंड आर्टिकल 39A, दोनों ही जो है कॉन्स्टिट्यूशन के माध्यम से और इस एक्ट के माध्यम से सेक्शन 27 के माध्यम से सरकार ने ये इंश्योर किया है कि पीपल विथ मेंटल इलनेस दे हैव एक्सेस टू फ्री लीगल सर्विसेज ऑफ द लॉयर्स wherever they are in the wherever they are in the challenging situations. Apart from them, there is a fixed and there is a very much requirement of having their right to live in community. क्योंकि एक मेंटल हेल्थ से सफ़र कर रहा इंसान, चाहे वो किसी भी तबके का हो, आपने कई बार देखा कई सारे हमारे जो फिल्म स्टार्स हैं वो भी अब खुल के सामने आ रहे हैं. मेंटल हेल्थ इज़ नॉट रिस्ट्रिक्टेड टू एनी क्लास और कास्ट और समथिंग. इट इज़ अ वाइड स्प्रेड प्रॉब्लम. और जिस तरह की ज़िंदगी हम आज जी रहे हैं, कितना हमारा तनावग्रस्त है, हर समय हम इतने तनाव में रहते हैं, चाहे वो हमारे ऑफिस का माहौल हो या घर का माहौल हो या कहीं भी आप सड़क पे भी चल रहे हो तो आप तनाव में ही चल रहे होते हो, क्योंकि आपको पता नहीं किस वक्त किस समय क्या होगा आपके साथ. तो ऐसे में इट हैज़ बिकम अ लाइफस्टाइल डिजीज़. आई विल से इट इज़ अ लाइफस्टाइल. द वे वी आर लिविंग टुडे, जिस तरह से हम रह रहे हैं, हमारी रोज़ की जो ज़िंदगी है, वो हमारा तनावपूर्ण जीवन ही इसका एक मतलब एक त्रासदी के रूप में हम देखते हैं. और ऐसे में ये इस टॉपिक की प्रासंगिकता का कोई दो राय इसमें है नहीं. तो इस बात को मैं दोबारा इसमें ज़्यादा वक्त ना देते हुए मैं अपने आज के जो वक्ता हैं उनको मैं इंट्रोड्यूस करूंगा और उसके बाद मंच को उनको मैं सौंपूंगा. आई स्टार्ट विद डॉक्टर राजेश सागर. डॉक्टर राजेश सागर इज़ प्रोफेसर ऑफ साइकेट्री at the All India Institute of Medical Sciences, AIIMS, and he has over 3 decades of experience in mental health, clinical psychiatry, research and public policy. Sir has served as a member of the Central Mental Health Authority, Government of India. Apart from that, he has played a pivotal role in shaping the National Mental Health Policy, Mental Health Care Act, and the National Suicide Prevention Strategy. Dr. Sagar is a fellow of the Indian Association of Medico Legal Experts, and he has authored over 850 scientific publications and is internationally recognized for his outstanding contributions to mental health. I welcome you, sir. Our next speaker is Dr. K. Madan Gopal. Dr. Gopal is an advisor to National Health System Resource Center. It is a premier think tank for the Ministry of Health and Family Welfare. He is an MBBS, an MD, Preventive and Social Medicine, with extensive work in health sector reforms, governance, capacity building, and health systems strengthening. We have our third speaker, Dr. Rachna Bhargav. I welcome you, ma'am. She is Professor of Clinical Psychology at the All India Institute of Medical Sciences, New Delhi, with over 25 years of experience as faculty member in the government medical colleges and teaching hospitals and at AIIMS. She currently serves as consultant in charge of the Child Guidance Clinic, Adolescent Substance Use Clinic, and Behavioral Addiction Clinic. Her research interests include disability, child and adolescent mental health, behavioral addiction, etc. Dr. Bhargav has received several awards from national and zonal professional societies. She was a WHO Global Mental Health Scholar from 2014 to 2021. Besides, she has also been associated with the World Health Organization in the ICD-11 field studies. With that small introduction, I would request our first speaker, Dr. Rajesh Sagar, to take over the session, sir. Thank you, sir. Over to you.
Thank you and namaskar to everyone. First of all, my thanks to the Ministry and also Department of Justice and to invite me, and not only invite me but also to discuss about this important topic on mental health. I think which is so important, and this is what, and I must thank Ministry of Health also, those who nominated my name. So this topic is very important, I think, and the whole the theme of today's discussion, because I have participated in many such government activities for many years now, mental health and access to justice. In fact, I may also tell you, I have taken few lecture NHRC also, where I talk about mental health and with the human rights and so on. And this whole theme as such, mental health and access to justice, is so appropriate and so important in today's context, bridging law, care, and human dignity, which is very, very important in the context of mental health. And the topic which has been assigned to me is integrating mental health into primary care, healthcare, and government strategies and best practice. So this I will talk briefly just to take you on this particular area. So first of all, always I start with why we need to know about mental illness. I think, and all I believe that we never had to had a COVID to know the importance of mental health and mental illness. I think mental health was anyway important, but after COVID, I think so much importance of mental health has come up. You all may be aware, but it was always important. I think, and always we say the slogan "No health without mental health." I think that's a very important aspect. Now, one is that mental illness affects everyone because it was a misconception that it only happens to adults and only in some class of people. It's not so. It happens to everyone, even children. Like I work with children, young population. Dr. Rachna is there who also work with children. So it can affect children also. It can affect both the genders. We all know, and also third gender. Wherever they stay, either urban, rural. Sometimes people say that it's only the urban problem, not a rural problem, and which all are misconception. So it can affect anyone. That's a basic thing. That is what we need to know. And mental disorders are disabling and can affect all aspects of life. Now, this is also very important what WHO has taken the study out of 10 all disabling condition. Mental disorders comes in top two, top three. Depression is one of the disabling condition all over the world, including our country. So it is highly disabling condition. We all know that. And there is a close association of mental disorder with chronic condition because so much talk is about NCD now. The world is talking about non-communicable disease like diabetes, hypertension, cardiac illness, and so on. So there is a almost 30% association is there with non-communicable disease, injury, and violence, and even maternal and child health conditions. So there is overlap. There is a strong association of mental health problem, mental illness in these conditions. And also there is some time back the government of India has made a document mental health and the macroeconomics because we all know even in our country the studies which are done, it's a loss of $1 trillion. And there is a much evidence. If you ask me how it is done, the economic loss, because those who have mental disorders or mental illness, either they are absent from work, absenteeism is there, or even if they are present, they are the productive. If they have a problem, the productivity goes down, the efficiency goes down. So overall, it's loss to society and the nation also. And this is there all over the world, because that is why we need to think about mental disorders, mental health, because it has a link with the economics also of the nation. So that is why we need to talk and discuss. And of course, depression is number one cause of disability around the world, also in our country, which is highly disabling, which prevalence is almost 5% and more. So one can see that's very common condition. There is also in our country, you would have heard about many suicide or self-harm behavior, which is there, which again is a serious concern also in our country, and a huge treatment gap is there. Now, treatment gap, what I mean here is out of 100 people who have the illness, only 10 to 20% people they come for the treatment, or the treatment is there. There is a gap of almost 80 to 90%. So, and these are for the number of reasons like stigma, services, lack of resources, and so on. So the gap is huge. No other condition will have such a huge treatment gap. So, and of course, there is a shortage of mental health workforce. Next, please. Now this was about mental health. Now, what is primary care? Since the topic says the integration of mental health in primary health care. Now, primary health care, actually, we have to understand this. It is basically a essential health care. It's essential health care, which is universally accessible to people, individual, like one can access easily, not only individual, but also family in the community. It is there in the community there itself, and as close as possible where the person live or work. So that is what is and primary healthcare. Like Example I can give, like in a rural area, we have something known as primary health center, like which is in the close vicinity. Like you don't have to travel to go to the big hospital. So that's the primary care, primary health center. Or even urban center, you have, let's say, a medical officer there, or there may be a general practitioner. So all those which are in the close vicinity, that is primary health care, which refers to the care which is based on the needs of the population. So basically the needs of the population, they take care of that. It's decentralized. I think that's a key thing about primary health care, and requires the active participation of the community and the family. So again, it's a community services, active participation. And PSC, primary health center, is the first point of contact on a individual. Next, please. Now, primary care for mental health, also we need to understand this. WHO has given a model. Primary care for mental health, as defined by WHO, is fundamental but supported by other levels of care, which includes community-based and hospital services. Like what we are working in the hospital-based services, the community services where it is in the close vicinity, there itself, in the place like community health center or district health center and so on. Of course, there could be informal services, or more importantly, there is a self-care also to meet the full spectrum of mental health needs of the population. It's an essential component of any well-functioning health system. When we talk of health system, it's an essential component. Other levels of care are secondary level. What we say, it's where the primary care workers are turned for the referral, support, and supervision. When from primary care, they are referred to secondary care, or even tertiary care. Tertiary care, apex center like AIIMS, or medical college and so on. So it's a different level. Like primary care is at the primary health center basic level, then they are referred to district hospital, that is a secondary level, and tertiary level is something like a bigger hospital. So basically it linkages to informal and community based services which are also necessary. Next, please. Now, this is the pyramid. If you can see, like just to give a glimpse, when we understand health, it's like a pyramid. Like the lowest one, where the most people, have the service, that is a self-care. Then, of course, there is informal community care, then the psychiatric care, then the top one is the long stay care, or the mental hospital, or the wards which are there in the hospital. So, but you can see that cost increases when we go up the ladder, cost of the services. But it is important when we talk of integration, we have to understand this pyramid, because we have to see there's a strong relationship between these. And of course, when we have to talk of integration of primary mental health care within the context of the overall healthcare system, and this is the overall healthcare system. Now the question comes, what is the reason for integrating mental health into primary care, which the topic is for today's discussion? Why we need to, integrate the two? And basically the integration again becomes important, and that's a objective of WHO also, and where and basically it's WHO's most fundamental healthcare recommendation. And one is for the enhanced access, because the integration is needed into the primary care for the increased access, because many times the services are not accessible. Like say for example, if the services are only available in tertiary center, which is 500 kilometers away or 100 kilometers away, so people will not use it in that way. So that's one of the important reason, as you can see. Then of course there's a respect of human rights. I think again that's a very important, because if you provide services within the vicinity where the people do not have to travel for long distance, so again that's a important human right issue, which again is important. Affordable, again primary care services, we all know people are reluctant to seek help in a big hospital, because they think that so much it will not be affordable to them. But within vicinity, with the primary care system, they are affordable. And of course it's cost effective also. That's what we need to know, that they are cost effective in a way if they are provided in the primary care setting. So that is why if you see, these are important reasons for integrating mental health into primary care. This is just to tell you, this is the study which basically the burden of disease. We talk of the burden of disease internationally, but this was published in one of the important journal, Lancet. And also you can see that 1 in 7 they do have mental disorders. About 20 crore people, like, if you can see, 197 million are affected by the mental disorders and mental health problems. So depression, as we know, it's a one of the important condition, and depression and anxiety disorders, they form much of the disabling condition. This is our own part of the study where we found that there is a huge treatment gap and for the mental disorders in our country as well. And this is based on our study. And of course, 95% was the treatment gap, but this was done about 15 years ago. But now it has reduced, but still it is substantial. And of course, 5.5% within 1 year were affected with diagnosable mental disorder. But again, I am saying this is the old study, but now the figures are about 10% or more. Okay, now when we are talking of mental health integration into primary care. So the concept of primary health care was formally adopted by WHO, because that's important by the declaration as the preferred method for providing a comprehensive, universal, equitable, and affordable healthcare services. I think these are the key things which are important, and the ability to reduce stigma, improve access to care, reduce chronicity of mental illness, and improve social integration. So these are some of the one of the important model of mental health integration. What it recommends it countries to build or transform the mental health services to promote self-care. As we were saying in the pyramid, also self-care was at the bottom main thing. Build informal community care services, build community mental health services, and of course there has mental health service in general hospital, and to limit the reliance purely on the psychiatric hospital. This is just to give you the model as such. Yeah, if you can see, for there are different connections are there in integrated mental health service in primary healthcare, like for better accessibility of mental health services, for improving human resources capacity, and more comprehensive care and follow up, reduce economic burden of the disease. You can see better treatment rates and quality comprehensive, better prevention and detection. So you can see with integration, we can achieve so many things. Reduce stigma and discrimination, better mental health and general health care outcome as such, better productivity, as we were saying, that has a link with economics also, better human right protection. So you can see that with the integration, we can achieve so many goals and objects. So integration of service in mental health in primary care is the most viable, and closing the treatment gap and ensuring that people get mental health care what they need. So these are certain 10 principles of integrating mental health into primary care by WHO. I think just to give a glimpse that these are common principles which are there and which we all are aware of it. A patient must have access to essential psychotropic medication in primary care. In fact, that is what our government of India also does. We provide medicines at the primary care level. Integration is a process, not an event. We need to know this. Mental health services coordinator is crucial in that, because one coordinator who can coordinate the services. Collaboration are important with different bodies like government, non-government, NGOs, and so on. Financial and human resources are needed. Policy and plans need to be incorporated in primary care for mental health. Advocacy is required. There is, the services will be useless unless we advocate for that. People are not aware of it. We need to create awareness for that. We need to advocate for it. Adequate training of primary care worker is required for this. Primary care tasks must be limited and doable, and especially mental health professionals and facility must be available to support the primary care. What it means is, everything cannot be there with the primary care. If there are some problems, they will be referred to the higher center. So that also it should be available so that the proper referral are done. Okay, so these are some of the important government strategy and best practices. I think some of which I have been part of it with the Ministry of Health, like National Mental Health Program. India was one of the first low and middle income country to have this national mental health program, which was started in 1982. After this, we had district mental health program, with the model was in one of the district in Karnataka, Bellary, which again was, and now it's available in all districts of the country. And the huge budget is assigned for it. There is a manpower, there are other resources, there is a budget for training, for creating awareness, and so on. Manpower development scheme started in 2009. Basically, there was shortage of psychiatrists, clinical psychologists, psychiatric social work. So there were center of excellence were made, and currently we have 22 center of excellence in the country, other than AIMS and other big institute. And of course, there the funds were given to in medical college the psychiatry department, so that so this was a specific emphasis on manpower development scheme which was started in 2009. Then of course there is a very important policy, that is a national mental health policy, which was released in 2014, and many such integration are mentioned in that. Basically the aims at how we can provide services to all people. And of course we do have a national health policy also, where is the reference to mental health is also there. And we all know very important Mental Health Act, which was earlier 1987, but the current one we have 2017 Mental Health Care Act, and rights of person with disability. Now here in Mental Health Act, we just heard from the chair that there are important provisions are there. Like one of the important provision in chapter 5 is there, where the integration is mentioned, that integration of mental health in primary care, we will be training to the as a rights of a person, and so the mental health care will be at par with the physical health care, and so on. And there is also a duties of government, that is a chapter 6, where the training of all medical officer will be there for with regard to mental health services, and so on. So a lot of these are mentioned in the our Mental Health Care Act 2017. There are other initiatives also for the integration, of course, the training. So training initiatives are important, and because we need to train doctors, TOTs, with medical doctors, psychologists, and so on. In fact, Government of India, Ministry of Health has undertaken. I have been part of few of this training program, which is important, and too for the capacity building. Next, please. I'll just take a few more minutes. This is also another model which we also published, that is in different sites, another model, that integrating mental health into public health. Because lack of time, I'm not going to detail, but of course this was with the help of ministry, this was undertaken. Next, please. This is the project which we are doing, which we have been part of it, which we have published. Anyone interested can see. This is integrated community and primary healthcare worker intervention to reduce stigma and improve management of common mental disorders like depression, anxiety in rural India. So whole protocol is there, which is basically talks about the integration. Next, please. So to conclude, I think integration of mental health into primary care is of critical importance, because mental disorders are widespread, disabling, and closely linked with chronic condition. Yet India faces a massive treatment gap, and shortage of specialist integration is required to ensure universal, equitable, and affordable care, reduce the stigma, and make services accessible to community level. And this can be achieved by by a few things, like strengthening primary health care, and health and wellness center, like sub centers have become health and wellness center. The government has a big plan, all the 2 lakh which are there in the country, to upgrade them. And again, there is a model, there is a guidelines are there to identify and treat, training frontline health workers for screening, counseling, referral, and so on, leveraging digital tool now which has come up, decision support system and telepsychiatry. Then there is a whole program, anti-stigma campaign also in the school, panchayats, and self-help groups. Embedding suicide prevention protocols are also important if we have to achieve this integration. So the combining policy framework, digital innovation, community engagement, right-based legislation, India can close the treatment gap and build a primary healthcare system that delivers accessible, dignified, which the today's theme is also, and holistic mental health care for all. With this, I will end here. Next, please. Yeah, my thank you slide. Yeah, thank you, everyone. I know time was short, but maybe some later we can discuss more in detail these points. I hope that I was able to convey in this short span of time. Thank you so much.
Thank you, Dr. Savia. You have rightly pointed out the need for integrating the primary health care with the mental health needs of the country, sir, as it helps in better prevention, and it helps in reducing stigma, besides providing better treatment rates to the people who are suffering from mental disorders. With that important introduction, we move on to our next speaker, Dr. Madan Gopal, who will point out to a system wherein before mental health becomes a clinical issue, from being before it reaches a courtroom, how the systems which are in place, just by having a helpline number or having a legal aid set up in the society is not what we need. How we should, these systems themselves should be responsive initially, okay? They should not be knee-jerk reaction. Idea is to say that the systems which are in place, be it legal or the societal or the courtroom based, they should be responsive to the needs so that the person need not fall into a very serious mode. He should be able to reach out to them when the need is there. So instead of being a reactive setup, we should have a more responsive, a more holistic kind of a setup is required, be it at the level of judiciary or the lawyers or the doctors or the helpline. So I request Dr. Madan Gopal to take over the next topic of how a responsive mental health system can be developed in the country. Thank you, sir.
Namaskar, everybody. I thank, first of all, I want to thank the Department of Justice for inviting me. Mental health is usually discussed, as discussed by Sagarji also, that as a medical or a public health issue. But when a person is denied the care, he is subjected to discrimination, abandoned by the families, unnecessarily detained, or unable to seek legal protection. It becomes an access to justice issue. India has already we have already have a legal and policy framework. The challenge before us is to ensure that these rights are actually experienced by the people, particularly those who are poor and vulnerable, socially excluded or unable to speak for themselves. So my focus, as mentioned by the director sir, is therefore on moving from a legal entitlement to a lived experience, which usually would be talking about the topic that towards a responsive mental health system, legal safeguards, policy priorities, and access to justice. To understand this better, let us first look at the situations in which the mental health concerns becomes an access to justice concern. A mental health condition does not automatically becomes a legal issue. It becomes an access to justice issue when dignity, autonomy, safety, and equal treatment is denied. This can happen within the family. For example, in case of domestic violence, abandonment of an older person, neglect of a child, denial of property rights, or exclusion of family from family decisions. It can happen during contact with police or the custodial system when the person is in distress is treated primarily as a threat or an offender rather than someone who may need care and protection. It can happen within a health facility when the treatment is given without adequate information. Privacy is violated, the person is subjected or to degrading treatment, or no mechanism is available to raise a complaint. It can also happen at schools, workplaces, and communities to discrimination. Fortunately, India does not have to begin from the beginning. The legal foundation is already strongly right-based. The Mental Health Act 2017 marked an important shift from largely institutional and custodial approach to rights-based approach. It recognizes access to affordable and good quality mental health care as right. It protects autonomy through informed consent, advanced directives, and nominative representatives. It also protects the dignity, privacy, and confidentiality. It provides protection against cruel, degrading, and inhuman treatment. Another important principle is the right to live in the community, as was mentioned during the initial opening remarks. A person should not remain in a mental health institution merely because the family is unwilling to accept him. The Act also recognizes the right to information, access to medical records, grievance redressal, and free legal services. The Rights of Persons with Disability Act provides an additional framework for equality, non-discrimination, reasonable accommodation, and participation in the society. These laws reflect our constitutional values of equality, liberty, and dignity. The issue, therefore, is not absence of rights. The issue is whether the person and family can actually exercise their rights when they need them. This brings us to the most important concern, the gap between the right written in the law and access as experienced on the ground. There are four important gaps. The first gap is the awareness gap. Many people, families, and even frontline workers do not know what rights are available, where services exist, and how a complaint can be made. The second is the coordination gap. Health services, police, legal aid, disability services, social welfare department, rehabilitation institutions, they often work separately. सब अपने अलग-अलग काम करते रहते हैं. The third is the continuity gap. A person may receive treatment during a crisis, but medicine, counseling, family support, rehabilitation may not continue after discharge. जैसे कोई पेशेंट आया है, उसको एक बार ट्रीटमेंट दे दिया, बट follow up कोई करता नहीं उसमें. That's another gap which is there. The fourth is accountability gap. The grievances often receive attention only after serious harm, media coverage or litigation. हमारे पास कोई व्यवस्था नहीं है, किसी ने कंप्लेंट किया कि हाउ टू एड्रेस हिज कंप्लेंट, हाउ टू डिटेल्स हिज कंप्लेंट, अनलेस ये बहुत ज्यादा एस्केलेट नहीं हो जाए मैटर, जब तक कि वी आर नॉट एबल टू एड्रेस दैट थिंग. Telemanners, which is available through 11416, that's the helpline number, is provides an important national entry point for counseling and referral. But a helpline should be a doorway into care, not a substitute for functioning local services. हम लोग ने हेल्पलाइन में हम सोचते हैं कि हेल्पलाइन हो गया तो हमने सर्विसेज दे दिया, बट इट्स अ डोरवे टू केयर, नॉट एज अ लोकल लेवल पे कोई व्यवस्था कर दी गई, हमने हेल्पलाइन बना दिया, काम हो गया, वो नहीं है. The real bridge, real bridge between the entitlement and access must therefore be built at the district and the community levels. That's the challenge. So I would suggest 5 practical bridges that can help us to build a more responsive mental health system. The first bridge is from the law to the service. The first bridge we have to create is law to service. Every important right must be linked with a clearly identified local service. A right to mental health care has little meaning when the family does not know where the treatment is available. The second is the healthcare and the legal aid. District mental health program teams and the district legal services authority need a two-way referral arrangement. Health professionals should recognize when the legal protection is required, and legal services providers should know when timely mental health care services is to be provided or where they are available. The third bridge is from institution to community. Discharge should not end at the hospital gate. It should include medicine, counseling, family preparation, social protection and rehabilitation. हम लोग खाली पेशेंट को मेडिसिन देते हैं, उसके बाद छोड़ देते हैं, बट इससे बहुत आगे की तरफ जाना है. मेडिसिन के अलावा काउंसलिंग करना है, फैमिली को तैयार करना है, सोशल लेवल पे हाउ वी कैन प्रोटेक्ट दैट इंडिविजुअल एज वेल एज द रिहैबिलिटेशन, जिससे आपसे काम काज करने. वी हैव टू फोकस ऑन दैट. द फोर्थ ब्रिज इज फ्रॉम क्राइसिस कंट्रोल टू क्राइसिस केयर. We are only focusing on the crisis control. अभी जो खाली जो कुछ भी इशू होता है उसको किसी तरह से नियंत्रण करना है, बट we should focus from crisis control to crisis care. Police, ambulance personnel, emergency departments, magistrates and shelter room need common protocols based on de-escalation, safety and dignity. Everybody should be taught. जितने लोग हैंडल करने वाले हैं मेंटल पेशेंट को, they all should be sensitized in handling this patients. The fifth bridge is from routine reporting to accountability. We must measure where rights are actually protected, not only number of consultations conducted. अभी खाली हमने कितने परामर्श दिए हैं उसको खाली काउंट करते हैं, बट हमारा जो मॉनिटरिंग मैकेनिज्म है, we should see that how many rights of the mental people they are being protected. That we should move from just counting the counseling to just measuring how many people with rights, rights are protected. Every district therefore needs a visible, simple, accountable mental health justice pathway. We have to see that how we move toward that. Let me illustrate what such district pathway look like in practice. The pathway begins with when the distress is identified by the person, the family, a community worker or paralegal volunteer, the police or the another place. The pathway starts from that. The first response may be provided through Ayushman Arogya Mandir. We do have around 1,80,000 Ayushman Arogya Mandir, which caters to a population of 3,000 to 5,000, depending on the population norms on which the center is there. The primary health center or the telemanners, the facilities there. The purpose is at this stage is to listen, assess immediate risk, and connect the person with appropriate care. उस लेवल पे ऐसा नहीं कि ट्रीटमेंट पूरा हो जाएगा, तब एट दैट पॉइंट ऑफ केयर सुनना है उसको, उसकी प्रॉब्लम को एसेस करना है, then if it is required need to connect with the higher centers like community health centers or district hospital. When a clinical care is required, the pathway should lead to community health center, the district hospital, the district mental health program team or a higher referral facility, a medical college, because प्राय अभी थोड़े दिन में most of the districts would be having medical colleges. So we have to see that how a connect is made between the Ayushman Arogya Mandir, the telemanners, the community health center and the higher referral center. When there is violence, unlawful detention, property deprivation, discrimination, abandonment or denial of entitlement, the person should also be connected with the district legal services authority. The legal helpline also provides another access point. But the referral is not the end of the pathway. The system should follow person throughout the treatment, medicines, counseling, social protection, disability related support, wherever it is applicable, rehabilitation, grievance redressal. The pathway must remain connected until an outcome is achieved. So this is where the para volunteers or the legal literacy partners can play a very important role. Next, the legal volunteers are not expected to diagnose or treat mental illness. Their role is to help a person enter the right pathway with dignity. I would emphasize the role of four simple actions. Role with simple four actions: recognize, respect, refer, and remain connected. पहले त्वरित पहचानो उसको, सम्मान दो, रिफर करो, या फिर एंड रिमेन कनेक्टेड. इट्स नॉट ओनली रिफर करने के बाद छोड़ दी, मैंने उनको नंबर दे दिया, दैट्स नॉट रिफरल. नंबर देने के बाद वी कनेक्टेड वेदर द पर्सन हैज अवेल्ड द सर्विसेज एंड व्हाट इज द आउटकम ऑफ दैट सर्विसेज दैट शुड बी देयर. Recognize means we have to see that the signs of distress, neglect, violence, homelessness, exploitation, and denial of health services are to be recognized. We have to respect the individual. We have to speak calmly, maintain privacy. ये काफी भारी भारी शब्द है जो बोल रहा हूँ, बट प्राय कोशिश करेंगे तो दिट कैन हैपन, बिकॉज इन मेनी ऑफ द private institutions or other institutions, they always see that how empathetically they can speak with the patient calmly, quietly, routinely also. Maintain privacy, listen without judgment, and avoid stigmatizing labels. You see that we are still challenging. Mental health is also a very difficult thing to handle, but we still have challenges with the other tropical diseases where stigma is associated, and that results in a lot of mental trauma. A person with mental health condition should not automatically considered violent, incapable or unreliable. हमको लगता है कि अगर कोई mental disease है वो violent ही होगा, ऐसा नहीं है. So we can always find a way in handling that person. We have to refer the person to local health services, the telemanas, district legal services, or there is an appropriate authority. If he requires a legal services, he should be connected with a legal person. If he requires a mental services, he required to be connected with the health services. Finally, remaining connected, that means check whether the person actually received care, protection or legal assistance. यहाँ पे हमारा दायित्व पूरा होता है. That means whether the person who has been referred, whether he has received the care or not. उसके बिना नहीं छोड़ना हमें. उसको care मिला कि नहीं मिला, मिलने के बाद क्या हुआ, that kind of connect should be there. Given a person telephone number is useful, but it is not completed referral. The effectiveness of the system depends on whether the connection results in meaningful support. From this pathway to work consistently, few changes are required in the way services are organized and monitored. Four areas need attention. First, every district should have an assured mental health service package. This should include outpatient care, essential medicine, emergency response, referral, counseling, follow-up, and rehabilitation. In IPHS, we already talk about that. In the mental health program also, some elements are there, but we have to see that how a package of services is being provided. Second is we require a joint operational protocol. Hospital, police, ambulances, magistrate, legal services, and shelters should not follow unrelated procedures when dealing with the same individual. We see that how the previous slide when I have told about how we remain, the referral should be referral and the reconnect. That's the most important thing. And I think if we have the joint operational protocol, that reconnect can happen. Third, we must strengthen community living and reintegration. Treatment alone is not enough. Many people need family counseling, supported accommodation, livelihood assistance, and access to social protection. Fourth, we require rights-based monitoring. In addition to service number, we should track legal aid referrals, complaints, involuntary care, use of restraints, discharge, follow-up, rehabilitation, reports of abuse, and abandonment. The test of this reform is not only whether the program exists, the test is whether the person and family experience continuity, dignity, and effective remedy. I will conclude with three commitments that can guide both the health systems and the justice system. The first commitment is care close to the home. People should be able to access basic mental health care without traveling long distances or waiting until a crisis appears. Here comes the role of the telemanas services and our Ayushman Arogya Mandir. You see that we always believe that the access to care should be as near as possible to the people. The second is the dignity at every contact, whether it is first contact with the health worker, police officer, lawyer, magistrate. There should not be no stigma, abuse, unnecessary coaction or abandonment. Nowadays, in the urban elites, though people they start coming up with their mental problems, but still in the rural areas, a lot of stigmatization is there, unnecessary abandonment is there. That kind of problem is there. The third is no one is left without support. Treatment must be connected with legal aid, rehabilitation, social protection, follow-up, and whenever required. Mental health care is a health service, but access to mental health care is also a legal entitlement. The real bridge between law and care is another institution. It is coordinated action at the district and the community level. Thank you very much. Thank you once again, Department of Justice, for giving me this opportunity. Thank you very much.
थैंक यू डॉक्टर मदन गोपाल, आपने बहुत ही इम्पोर्टेंट बात कही कि लोगों के सिर्फ राइट्स और इंटाइटलमेंट्स होने से कुछ नहीं होता है, उनको एक्सरसाइज करने के लिए भी जो सपोर्ट सिस्टम की आवश्यकता है हमारे सोसाइटी में वो बहुत ज़रूरी है। और इसमें बहुत सारी बाधाएं हैं, जैसे कि अवेयरनेस की बहुत कमी है लोगों के बीच में, कोऑर्डिनेशन जो संस्थाओं के बीच में कोऑर्डिनेशन की बहुत कमी है, एंड डिस्चार्ज के बाद जो फॉलो अप एक्शन होते हैं उसमें भी बहुत सारे इश्यूज आते हैं, जो कि बार बार उस बंदे को सिर्फ रिलीज, एक बार ट्रीटमेंट हो गया तो हम उसके बाद उसको छोड़ देते हैं अपने हाल पे, वो बार बार उस ट्रैप में वापस फंसने की और उसकी टेंडेंसी होती है। और सिर्फ हेल्पलाइन नंबर्स होने से नहीं होता दिया, जैसे कि आपने बताया कि इससे दरवाज़ा खुलता है उससे, लेकिन एक्चुअल रेफरल उससे पॉसिबल नहीं होता, सिर्फ हेल्पलाइन नंबर होने से कुछ नहीं होता। और आपने जो बताया कि ऐसे में बहुत ज़रूरी है कि हमारे पास एक अश्योर्ड प्लान ऑफ एक्शन हो हर डिस्ट्रिक्ट लेवल पे, जहाँ पे सारी संस्थाएं मिलकर जॉइंट प्रोटोकॉल बनाएं, और जहाँ पे कम्युनिटी लिविंग एंड रीइंटीग्रेशन के ऊपर भी आपने जो जोर दिया है कि फैमिली के साथ साथ लाइवलीहुड लिंकेजेस और उनको बिजी रखने के लिए आसपास सबके दायित्व बन जाता है, एक समाज के पूरी दायित्व होता है वो बंदा कि उसको बार में किसी दोबारा वो स्ट्रैप में ना फंस सके। तो ये बहुत ही ज़रूरी है कि हम इसके लिए अर्ली डिटेक्शन एंड अर्ली साइंस रिकॉग्नाइज करें, सबको मिलके हमें अपने परिवार के सदस्यों के और आसपास हमें जागरूक रहना पड़ेगा कि शुरू से ही हमें प्रिवेंटिव होना चाहिए, हमारा जो है नी जर्क रिएक्शन ना हो कि लोग इसमें फंसे ना। इसलिए अगले जो हमारे वक्ता हैं डॉक्टर रचना भार्गव, शी विल थ्रो लाइट ऑन द अर्ली साइंस एंड टाइमली केयर एंड बिहेवियरल ट्रांसफॉर्मेशंस व्हिच आर very very important. The detection at the early stage will save many people from falling into that trap of mental disorder. Thank you, ma'am. Over to you.
First of all, I would like to thank the organizers, the Department of Justice, for giving me this opportunity to be here to be part of this important webinar. I'm going to talk about what an individual can do at a very grassroots level. Because जब तक एक इंडिविजुअल ये नहीं समझता कि मुझे मेंटल हेल्थ के इश्यूज हैं, मुझे हॉस्पिटल जाना है या मुझे किसी से कनेक्ट करना है, तब तक नेक्स्ट स्टेप आता ही नहीं है. We do not then talk about what rights he has or where he can go. जब भी हम अक्सर स्वास्थ्य की बात करते हैं, physical health, whether he is healthy or not, automatically we talk about physical health. शारीरिक रूप से हम स्वस्थ हैं कि नहीं है. When we are talking about mental health, what is mental health? It's a complex process. क्या हम समझ पा रहे हैं मेरे साथ ज़िंदगी में क्या हो रहा है, लाइफ में कितने सारे पड़ाव पड़ते हैं, are we able to cope up with those things, are we productive despite having to face various challenges in life. So if we are able to do so, we would say that I'm mentally healthy, I'm able to deal with my mental health adequately. Various situations in life, whether it is at workplace, family, with how we are connecting with other individuals, whether we are facing some legal battle or we are having shortage of funds, someone in the family is ill, or home environment or the school environment or the workplace is having problems. इन सब चीज़ों को लेके हम some individuals may feel stressful, some individuals may feel that this is part of life. तो हमारे reactions अलग अलग होते हैं. And at the same time, we need to understand that some amount of stress is important to drive us to face those challenges. अगर हमारे पास एक बच्चे के सामने एग्ज़ाम हो ही नहीं तो वो पढ़ेगा ही क्यों. तो एग्ज़ाम एक तरह से उसके लिए स्ट्रेस भी क्रिएट करता है, पर दूसरे पर्सपेक्टिव से उसको एक चैलेंज भी मिलता है कि मुझे आगे सीखना है. But at the same time, after certain amount of stress, we become dysfunctional. जिसको हम cope up नहीं कर पा रहे हैं, वो हमारे लिए anxiety देता है, घबराहट देता है, एक helplessness की feeling देता है. That is the time when we need to seek help. हम लाइफ के किसी भी पड़ाव में हो, चाहे बच्चा हो या एडोलेसेंट हो, चाहे हम वर्किंग हैं या हम एक घर के दायरे में बंद एक हाउसवाइफ का रोल अदा कर रहे हैं या बुढ़ापे के तदार पे हैं, हर स्थिति पे वी नो दैट देयर आर वेरियस चैलेंजेस. I've listed a few which are commonly reported by individuals. जिसको हम कहते हैं कि हमें स्ट्रेस हो रहा है, ज़रूरी नहीं है। अगर मेरी प्रमोशन नहीं हो रही है या अगर मेरे सीनियर मेरे को हरास कर रहा है तो मैं उसको लेके क्या मैं डिप्रेस्ड हो जाऊंगी? ज़रूरी नहीं है। Sometimes we are able to cope up with this. We talk to our colleagues, we talk to someone how to find a way out, and we move on. Next, please. So, uh, if we are able to face the stress adequately, we are fine. But if we are not able to face the coping, we are not able to face those challenges, then we start having हेडेक हो रहा है, मुझे बहुत थकान लगती है, मेरे को नींद नहीं आ रही है. सो दीज आर सम ऑफ द साइंस एंड कॉमनली रिपोर्टेड सिम्टम्स वेदर दे आर इन द फॉर्म ऑफ फिजिकल इश्यूज, क्योंकि अक्सर हम मेंटल हेल्थ इश्यूज को भी फिजिकल का नाम देते हैं. हमें महसूस यही होता है कि हमारे शरीर में थकान है, बट एक्चुअली द कॉज में बी एट द मेंटल लेवल. When we are not able to deal with these issues, we become dysfunctional. I don't want to go to work because there is a harassment. I don't feel motivated enough. मुझसे पढ़ाई नहीं होती इसलिए मैं स्कूल नहीं जाऊंगा, मुझसे काम नहीं होता है इसलिए मैंने आज मेट को नहीं बुलाया. So at various workplace, if when we try to avoid our responsibilities, it means that we may be moving towards a disorder. Mental illness is there. Next, please. So, ये कहना कि कब उदासीपन, डिप्रेशन मतलब एक क्लिनिकल डिसऑर्डर बन जाता है, एक बीमारी का रूप धारण कर लेता है, बहुत कोई डिमार्केशन नहीं है. जनरली वी से दैट इफ इट इज परसिस्टेंट, I'm just giving an example of sadness, depression, which is a very common mental disorder, and it is sadness या depression is commonly used word among the public. अगर मैं इस उदासीपन के कारण फैमिली गैदरिंग्स में नहीं जा रही हूँ, मैं काम पे नहीं जा रही हूँ, आई एम अवॉइडिंग सोशल इंटरेक्शन, आई एम अवॉइडिंग कुकिंग, आई एम अवॉइडिंग talking to my children, then that means there is a dysfunction at the level and I need help. Next, please. So, how do we recognize these signs? जैसा कि मैंने कहा, सबसे पहले हम शारीरिक कंप्लेंट्स देते हैं. मेरे हेडेक हो रहा है, मेरा मन नहीं कर रहा नहाने का, मेरा को नींद ठीक से नहीं आती, या मुझे भूख बहुत ज़्यादा लगती है, या मेरा मन नहीं करता है खाना खाने को. So these are some of the physical somatic complaints that if one is feeling that or one is reporting, we need to take it seriously. Some of the behavioral signs include there is a sudden, पेरेंट्स आके कहते हैं कि कई बारी पता नहीं बिना प्रोवोकेशन के, बिना कोई किसी कॉन्टेक्स्ट के इरिटेबल हो जाता है, वापस जवाब देता है, या अननेसेसरीली शॉपिंग आजकल हो रही है. Extremes of behavior which was not there earlier. So any change over the time which is not there, which is not acceptable by the family, that means there is this behavior needs to be attended to. At the social level, we don't want to interact with people, we don't want to respond to people, respond to family members. छोटी छोटी चीज़ों को लेके हम नर्वस हो जाते हैं. समटाइम्स वी से दैट मुझे लग रहा है कि बस ज़िंदगी का अंत आ गया है. सो दीज काइंड ऑफ इमोशनल रिस्पॉन्सेज ऑल्सो आर अ मैटर ऑफ कंसर्न एंड मे बी एन इंडिकेशन फॉर मेंटल इलनेस. नेक्स्ट प्लीज. सो मोटे तौर से अगर हम देखें तो कुछ ऐसे साइंस होते हैं जो इररिस्पेक्टिव, दे कैन बी, दीज साइंस कैन बी ड्यू टू सम फिजिकल इलनेस and these can also be signs for some mental illness. हमारे रोज़मर्रा का जो रूटीन है उसमें चेंजेस आ रहे हैं. बच्चा स्कूल नहीं जाना चाह रहा है, कॉलेज जाने में छुट्टी अक्सर आ रही है, हम वर्क प्लेस से कोई ना कोई बहाना लेके जल्दी वापस आ जाते हैं. वी आर नॉट ईटिंग वेल, आई गेट अप इन बिटवीन एट नाइट, और देयर इज़ अ चेंज इन माई इंटरैक्टिव. पहले बहुत ज़्यादा सोशलाइजेशन होती थी, अभी मेरा मन नहीं करता है. सो दीज आर ग्रॉस साइंस विच मे बी ड्यू टू एनी रीज़न, बट दे आर इम्पॉर्टेंट टू बी पिक्ड. सम साइंस आर स्पेसिफिक टू अ पर्टिकुलर डिसऑर्डर. ये सब कॉमन बीमारी है, बहुत ज़्यादा चेकिंग होती है, बहुत ज़्यादा लगता है कि बहुत गंदा हूँ तो बार बार नहाते हैं, या बहुत ज़्यादा हैंड वॉशिंग होती है, तो OCD, ऑब्सेसिव कंपल्सिव डिसऑर्डर. बच्चों में अक्सर स्कूल से रेफरल आते हैं कि बच्चे में बहुत ज़्यादा वो 7th क्लास में पढ़ रहा है पर उसको अभी तक सेंटेंस बनाना नहीं आता है, उसकी स्पेलिंग में एरर्स बहुत हैं, या मैथ्स में वो 2nd क्लास का परफॉर्मेंस है। स्पेसिफिक लर्निंग डिसऑर्डर तारे ज़मीन पर हम सब ने देखी है, एंड दैट इज़ वन वे ऑफ अंडरस्टैंडिंग व्हाट दिस इज़ अबाउट। Many times, unlike other illnesses, people do report मेरे को बहुत डिप्रेशन रहता है, it should be taken seriously, it's a cry for help that I am not feeling well. अक्सर देखा गया है कि individuals who do try to commit suicide, they do say, they verbalize their problems, their helplessness, and they seek help, which we most often in our peer groups we do not recognize later on, अरे उसने तो ऐसा कहा था। समटाइम्स इंडिविजुअल रिपोर्ट मुझे कुछ सुनाई देता है, हम हंस के उड़ा देते हैं बात को, दिस मे बी साइंस फॉर साइकोसिस। समटाइम्स वी से दैट बहुत एंजाइटी, बहुत घबराहट हो रही है, तो मुझे लगता है कुछ मिनट को लगा कि मेरा तो अंत आ गया, इट मे बी अ पैनिक अटैक। सो वी नीड टू सीक हेल्प रादर देन फेस दैट मेरा लोग मजाक उड़ाएंगे तो मैं नहीं जाता हूँ दिखाने। नेक्स्ट प्लीज, नेक्स्ट। एट टाइम्स इफ़ इट इज़ पॉसिबल तो टीचर्स सेटिंग में या पेरेंट्स जो एजुकेटेड हैं, वी हैव स्मॉल स्मॉल सेल्फ एडमिनिस्ट्रेट क्वेश्चनेयर विच कैन एक्चुअली टेल यू कि ये इस 10 आइटम्स में से इतना कट ऑफ 2 के ऊपर है, दैट मीन्स यू नीड टू कंसल्ट अ mental health professional. PHQ, GAD, 7 item, 9 items, it's hardly anything. Very simple items which can be used in community. Next please. सो PHC प्राइमरी हेल्थ सेंटर्स में या डिस्ट्रिक्ट मेंटल हेल्थ, जैसा कि डॉक्टर सागर ने भी बताया कि ये सब जो हमारे प्रोग्राम्स हैं उसमें दीज आर द कॉमनली यूज टूल्स टू आइडेंटिफाई। जो कुछ इम्पॉर्टेंट चीज़ें मैं इस संदर्भ में बोलना चाहूँगी कि ऐसा नहीं है कि एडल्ट्स में एडल्ट की प्रॉब्लम्स होती है। इट हैज़ बीन डॉक्यूमेंटेड वर्ल्ड वाइड दैट मोस्ट ऑफ द मेंटल इलनेस दे हैव देयर ऑनसेट इन द एडोलेसेंट एज। दैट्स वाई वी एम्फसाइज कि बच्चों में और एडोलेसेंट्स में इट्स वेरी इंपॉर्टेंट टू पिक द साइंस अर्ली सो दैट वी कैन प्रिवेंट एनी सीवियरिटी ऑफ मेंटल इलनेस। जैसा कि डॉक्टर सागर ने बताया, हेल्प सीकिंग ट्रीटमेंट गैप इज वेरी वेरी सीवियर इन आर कॉन्टेक्स्ट। In the recent national mental health survey which was conducted in many centers in India, it reported 70 to 90% treatment gap exists. That means कि people may have mental illness but they do not seek help. So what do we do? Next slide please. We need to tell them that we need to seek help early, because I am just giving this example. बच्चे में हाइपर एक्टिविटी, बच्चा एक जगह टिकता नहीं है, वो बार बार भाग जाता है, खाना खाने में भी बैठता नहीं है। Hyperactivity is one illness which can be easily be recognized, but if it goes untreated, why? Because parents don't want to give medicine. If it goes untreated, it is documented that it may lead to, when the child grows to an adolescent age, he may develop conduct disorder. वो झूठ बोलेगा, चोरी करेगा, और बड़ा होगा अगर उसको भी साइकोलॉजिकल इंटरवेंशंस नहीं मिलती हैं, तो इट्स लाइकलीहुड इज कि ही मे डेवलप habits of exploring substance use and antisocial personality disorder. So this trajectory is very well documented in the literature, and we do see it in the clinical setting. So it's very important we identify them early, we ask them to seek help early. Next slide please. Next. एक जो दूसरा फ़ायदा है, अगर हम अर्ली आइडेंटिफाई करते हैं और हम इंटरवीन करते हैं, वेदर इट इज़ अ चाइल्ड और इट्स एन एडल्ट, it whatever the problem we are facing, whether at workplace or at home, our productivity goes down, it impacts the academic performance. So if we seek treatment, our disability goes down, there is a hope for recovery. Mental illness, most of them, they may recur. So अगर हम maintain करते हैं, हम monitoring करते हैं, then we are likely to have better outcomes. with an example of a case where there was a job instability among an adult patient and he never sought treatment. There was a doubt for whether he had childhood ADHD, hyperactivity, untreated mood disorder, and personality issues. So, when this family came to me with a child having problems in the school, with poor academics, although she had a very high IQ. So, what turned out was that the father had problems. It was leading to a lot of conflicts at home. Spouse was talking about divorce, and children were having conduct traits. मेरे को पढ़ना आता पर मैं पढ़ूंगी नहीं, मैं लिखूंगी नहीं. So this rebelliousness was arising not because of her own personality, but because of the home environment. Next, please. So the whole family becomes dysfunctional, and if we intervene early, I started with working with the child and moved on to the adults, the family, the parents, and we were able to deal with the child problems. This helps not only to prevent mental illness, I would like to emphasize, बच्चे में पनपता दिमाग है. इस दिमाग अगर हम उसको हेल्दी रखते हैं, healthy mind, healthy body, it also impacts his academic performance, emotional regulation, and would be a decreased need for medication. Next, please. We can see that the brain में different जो parts है, उनके different functions होते हैं. जो हमारा frontal part है, that helps in decision making. Amygdala, which helps in regulating our emotions. So when we are helping the child, we are helping in proper development. Next, please. And this support that comes from the environment, that helps in at the emotional level as well. A child would feel valued. There would be decrease in the cortisol levels, which means stress कम होता है, and there is a improved decision making. So brain, mind, and our behavior, everything is interconnected. Next, please. When we are seeking support, whether it is peer, whether it is a family, ASHA workers, people who can help definitely boost the morale, boost the confidence, and our productivity. Dr. Gopal already talked about Telemanas. It's a gateway to confirm that I have mental health problems, I need help. To what level? That can be decided at the Telemanas level. Next, please. At the PHC, we do have primary health centers. We did a survey when we were evaluating the services in district of Maharashtra, and we found वहाँ पे उन्होंने बोला कि बच्चों में तो कोई mental illnesses होती ही नहीं है. Parents don't report. It's not that they don't report. They may be coming with headache, but actual problem may be mental stressors. But अगर हमें उनको पहचानना नहीं आता, तो we will not be able to say that there are mental illnesses coming and reporting in the clinic. So problems lie at various levels. And prevention, when we are talking about prevention, we need not just talk about emotions and brain development and thought processes. We also need to focus on how do we act at the behavioral level. If we change our lifestyle, next please, we change our life, we equip ourselves to face these challenges. How? Balance is the answer. The work-life balance. Most of us are burdened with lot of work, lot of stresses, burnout, and it's not only true for the office. It's also true for at any place, in any context. Next, please. So we need to identify what is causing me the stress. How do I remove the stress? Can I break this problem into small parts and deal with them? The crucial answer most of the time is time management. मुझे time नहीं मिल रहा है इस problem को solve करने का. How do I identify time? 24 hours से 25 hours नहीं हो सकते. We need to find out time. We need to identify. We need to many times as a housewife says, मेरा तो बहुत सारा काम पड़ा है, अब बाहर जाके खेल लो. You play with the mobile, you watch TV. So what are we doing? We are neglecting our children for other mundane tasks. Next, please. It's true for all of us. So we need to identify how to prioritize what is important right now. Next, please. Decide when to do it. Next. And if it is not important, maybe delegate to some other junior staff. And if it is not at all important, dump it. Next, please. It's easy to say, it's difficult to follow. So most important is we usually say बहुत सारा काम है and we ignore our own health. So before we talk about mental health, we also talk about physical health. Physical exercises, sleep hygiene. This is very important because in the technology era, we are so much dependent on our mobiles that before we sleep, we are on the mobile. When we come back from the work, we are on the mobile and the child gets neglected. So our parenting gets distorted. So sleep, diet, device-free zones, they are all interconnected. And all of this together, it will ensure that the self, I will feel healthy and the family, the home environment will be positive. Next, please. So next, please. When I'm talking about mental health, at the workplace, for example, what am I doing? How do I want to see myself after 10 years? Are my goals unrealistic? And my colleague is doing well, but am I at that level that I should have those goals? What these actions bring to me? Next, please. So, these are some of the questions that help us to realize how I am moving on with my life. So, besides my own self, I would rather emphasize that the value system, what makes me comfortable, whether being competitive is what makes me happy, or whether accepting the life how it comes makes me happy. At the workplace, what gives me satisfaction, and whether I'm connecting with others while I'm working, while I'm burdened with the work. Next, please. So, to summarize, I would say whether in the 24 hours, whether I'm able to identify me time. I would say that uh, it's up to us to identify the time. Every day it's a dynamic process. तो आज जो हम decide करते हैं कि हम आज ये करेंगे, next day हो सकता है वो नहीं हुआ हो. So the next day to-do list changes, but we are often lazy. We don't do it. So what is required is to identify a time when you can be with your own self, just 10 minutes. And that will help to maintain balance, to know yourself, because you are different. Each individual is different. Each individual's goals should be different. And we need to prioritize. We need to say no. We need to refuse with my peers if they are insisting that try this substance. So which is very common. But most of the time we want to be in the peer. We want to be accepted in the norms, whether it is a workplace or it is at a college. Why this is happening? Because our own value system is such that we do not value our own family systems. So most important and last but not the least is that if we feel that things are not moving right, we need to seek a professional help, whether it is a health center, it's a district hospital, or it's a private setup. So with this, I would close my presentation. Thank you.
Dr. Bhargav, it was really very informative and educative how we should see as a family the early signs of mental disorders, especially at the adolescent age when we are very, very sensitive and we are going towards our career build-up and towards college. And at that time, the child or the adult is in a stage where there is a lot of uncertainty, and then at that time, if the proper support system is not available, then how that adult, he becomes an adult, it becomes a problem for his own life, and the entire family, the entire society suffers because of his unproductivity and because of his illness. And how it is very important to maintain work-life balance, to give yourself time, the so-called me time, and prevent unnecessary pressures and stress in the setup around you, be it in the office or the family or society, wherever you, and not to get undue influence from your peer group, and value the core values which have been provided to you by your family or the elders, and maintain your sanity in this high stress situation. So with that, I think the whole discussion today with all the three speakers, we came to know how the mental disorder has taken a mammoth proportion in today's world, और कोई भी इसे अछूता नहीं रह गया है, सभी को ये इफ़ेक्ट कर रहा है, और कुछ तो ये हमारी लाइफस्टाइल का भी है, और जिस तरह से हमारा लाइफस्टाइल है, मतलब इसमें हमें अपने लिए समय निकालना बहुत ज़रूरी है, और समय से, और इसमें सबका दायित्व है ना कि वो इंडिविजुअल सफ़र कर रहा है, इस समय से अगर ये इंटरवेंशन नहीं मिला तो ये आगे जाके एक बहुत बड़ा एक आपदा बन जाएगी। और जैसे ओल्ड एज अपने आप में एक समस्या है, या बच्चों की अपनी समस्या, हर एज के अपने अपने स्ट्रेस हैं, अगर ये स्ट्रेस को हर स्टेज पर अगर हम कैप्चर कर रहे हैं और उसको सही इंटरवेंशन दे सकें तो ये अपने आप में एक अच्छा बैलेंस हम बना सकते हैं। तो ऐसे में इट वाज अ वेरी इंफॉर्मेटिव, वेरी एजुकेटिव डिस्कशन, और अब समय है कि हम कुछ प्रश्नों को लें, और इससे पहले कि मैं ऑनलाइन क्वेश्चंस ले सकूं, इज देयर एनीबॉडी इन द ऑडियंस हु वुड लाइक टू आस्क क्वेश्चन फ्रॉम द स्पीकर्स?
Good evening, sir and ma'am, respected dignitaries. So I'm Shubham Shukla, an intern at Department of Justice. So I was yesterday only researching on public health law and health psychology. So I found out that the access to justice in mental health is not limited by just lack of legal rights, or it is more because of the fear and stigma. So my question is, how can legal institutions can collaborate with mental health professionals and institutions in order to address these behavioral issues? Thank you.
Any of the speakers who are present can take up. Would Dr. Rajesh like to speak, or Madam, because Madan sir
I
is
think
already
that's a
there.
very important and very pertinent question, I must say. The solution, I feel, is the creating awareness and talking, interacting, and this type of meeting, I think this type of interaction with everyone, I think creating awareness, educating, and discussing, and one-to-one interaction, or even in a group. So I see that this is what sometime we also call this as a health literacy or mental health literacy. What it means is that how much education information you are able to impart. I think that I see is important solution. And also like that is why, if you know that we do celebrate mental health day, World Mental Health Day on 10th October. That time we keep public lectures. So I think it's important that we had to come out of our comfort zone of and interact with people, and that's the way we can remove the stigma. We can discuss, because a lot of apprehensions people have that about mental health issues, पता नहीं क्या होगा इसमें, ये तो और बहुत सारी इसमें बहुत सारा मिथ जुड़ा हुआ है। एक तो मिथ है कि बीमारी हो गई तो कभी ठीक नहीं हो सकती है। आई मस्ट से कि मोस्ट ऑफ द इलनेसेस आर ट्रीटेबल, आप उसको सही वक्त पर आइडेंटिफाई करें और उस सबका इलाज संभव है। और बहुत सारी भ्रांतियां हैं कि दवाइयां बहुत गर्म होती हैं, बहुत साइड इफेक्ट होते हैं, एक बार ले लो जिंदगी भर चलेगी। तो बहुत सारे ऐसे बहुत सारे मिथ्स हैं। तो वो तभी संभव है कि डिस्कस करें, बातचीत करें, और वो जो मिथ्स हैं उसको दूर करें। और हम बताना चाहेंगे कि हमारे पास ट्रीटमेंट है जो वर्ल्ड ओवर होता है, चाहे वो अमेरिका में है या यूरोप में, वो सब यहाँ पे मौजूद है। दवाइयाँ हैं, बहुत सारी थेरेपीज हैं। जो ये भी बताना जरूरी है कि सिर्फ दवाइयाँ ही ट्रीटमेंट नहीं होता है। डॉक्टर अर्चना यहाँ पे हैं, बहुत सारी काउंसलिंग होती है, थेरेपीज होती हैं। तो ये सब करना होगा, और यही हम संदेश सबको देना चाहेंगे कि अपने डॉक्टर, अपने एक्सपर्ट के संपर्क में रहें, और सोचें कि इस प्रॉब्लम का समाधान हो सकता है, और उसके लिए आगे आए। जैसे ट्रीटमेंट गैप इतना ज्यादा है, हालांकि कम हो रहा है बट अभी भी बहुत ज्यादा है, तो उसका तरीका यही है कि वी जस्ट हैव टू इंटरेक्ट एंड क्रिएट अवेयरनेस।
हमारा अगला प्रश्न है कि क्या ऐसे कोई टेस्ट हैं जो लोग अपने घर पर बैठे ही कर सकते हैं टू नो देयर मेंटल हेल्थ? कुछ ऐसे टेस्ट्स के बारे में कोई जानकारी जो लोग घर में बैठ के ही अपने आप को जांच कर सकें और अपने मेंटल हेल्थ के बारे में पता लगा?
देखिए, बहुत 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 इम्पोर्टेंट सवाल है, और ये अक्सर हम जब टीवी पे चर्चा होती है या रेडियो पे होता है, इसके बारे में हम डिस्कस करते हैं। सबसे इंपॉर्टेंट चीज है कि रेड फ्लैग को पहचाने, और हमेशा 4-5 बातें हम बताते हैं। एक तो चेंज इन बिहेवियर, आप देखिए कि किसी भी व्यक्ति में जो है देखें कि उसका जो बर्ताव है, पहले वो बहुत ठीक तरह से बात करता था, मगर वो शांत हो गया है, चुप चुप हो गया है, कमरे में बंद हो गया है, मिलना नहीं चाहता है। तो ये जो चेंज इन बिहेवियर बहुत इंपॉर्टेंट चीज है। दूसरा, उसको मन के जो इमोशनल सिम्टम्स हैं, उसको घबराहट है या बेचैनी है या उसको उदासी होने लगी है। अब उदासी बहुत लोगों को होती है, लेकिन उसकी वजह से उसने काम पे जाना बंद कर दिया है, लोगों से मिलना जुलना बंद कर दिया है। तो ये एक रेड फ्लैग इंपॉर्टेंट हो सकता है। या अपने आप को हार्म करने के थॉट्स आते हैं, उसकी नींद में खराबी आ रही है। नींद एक बहुत इंपॉर्टेंट सिम्टम है, जो परिवार वाले सबसे पहले बताते हैं कि इसको बीमारी का रिलैप्स होने वाला है। तो ये भी एक बहुत इंपॉर्टेंट सिम्टम है। तो या उसको कुछ ऐसा, कुछ सीवियर डिसऑर्डर जिसमें हम कहते हैं, जहाँ पे उसे लगता है लोग मेरे खिलाफ हैं या साजिश कर रहे हैं, वो अपने आप से बातें करता है, तो इसको हम सीवियर मेंटल डिसऑर्डर कहते हैं। तो अगर ये सारे लक्षण है, बिहेवियर में बर्ताव या इमोशनल सिम्टम्स या उदासी या डर एक तरह का, काम पे ना जाना, लोगों से मिलना जुलना बंद कर देना, तो ये सब जो है रेड फ्लैग्स हो सकते हैं। जहां तक टेस्ट की बात की है, देखिए साइकियाट्रिक एग्जामिनेशन ब्लड प्रेशर की तरह नहीं है। आपने इंस्ट्रूमेंट लगाया, आपने चेक किया और आपका 120/80 है, या ब्लड शुगर जो है इतना है, ऐसा नहीं होता। इसमें बातचीत के जरिए ही इसका डायग्नोसिस बनता है। जैसे डॉक्टर रचना ने 2 टेस्ट, आपने अगर मैं फिर से बताना जो बताए थे, PHQ-9 और GAD-7। तो ये जो है ये सेल्फ एडमिनिस्टर्ड है, आप इसको यूज कर सकते हैं। लेकिन मैं इसमें एक कैविएट देना चाहूंगा, जब हम अपने ऊपर कभी लगाते हैं इसको, तो कभी कभी ओवर डायग्नोज कर देते हैं, हम हर चीज को टिक कर देते हैं। लेकिन अगर आप उसको टेस्ट से जरिए पहचान सकते हो, आपके अपने परिवार से पूछ सकते हो, अगर आपको लग रहा है जरा भी आपको लगता है संदेह है, तो आप संकोच ना करें, अपने किसी भी डॉक्टर से जाके मिल लें आसपास। अगर मेंटल हेल्थ प्रोफेशनल या साइकियाट्री साइकोलॉजी नहीं भी है, कोई बात नहीं, अपने जनरल डॉक्टर से मिल लें, तो वो आपको और बेहतर तरीके से बता सकता है। देखिए, इसका एग्जाम्पल मैं ऐसे देता हूँ कि आपको अगर मान लीजिए चेस्ट में पेन हुआ, अब इसका मतलब जरूर नहीं है कि आपको हार्ट अटैक हुआ। आप डॉक्टर के पास गए हो, उससे ECG किया, नॉर्मल आया, आप वापस घर आ गए। तो कहने का मतलब, जरा भी कुछ लगता है तो अपने डॉक्टर से मिलिए, और आपको फिर उससे रिएश्योरेंस मिल जाएगी कि मैं ठीक हूँ, और अपने संपर्क में रहिए अपने हेल्थ प्रोफेशनल के।
PHQ एंड GAD दे आर स्क्रीनिंग क्वेश्चनियर्स। तो अगर शुभा है तो नेक्स्ट स्टेप फिर किसी डॉक्टर, किसी हेल्प सीख करना है, तो अपने आप से तो कई सारी मैगजीन्स वगैरह में आता है। तो मोस्ट इम्पॉर्टेंट थिंग इज़ कि अगर किसी व्यक्ति को लग रहा है कि मुझे प्रॉब्लम है और वो सोचता है कि मुझे कुछ क्वेश्चनियर करना चाहिए, दैट मीन्स देयर इज़ अ प्रॉब्लम।
थैंक यू सर एंड मैम। एक और प्रश्न मैं आखिरी लूँगा कि आई वुड लाइक टू नो अबाउट रिहेबिलिटेशन फैसिलिटीज विच आर अवेलेबल। तो एक इंसान जिसको मेंटल प्रॉब्लम है, उसके लिए एक बार निकलने के बाद ट्रीटमेंट, व्हाट आर द रिहेबिलिटेशन फैसिलिटीज अवेलेबल पोस्ट ट्रीटमेंट?
इन मेनी सिटीज़ देर आर हाफ वे होम्स। मतलब जब जनरली जो माइनर जैसे डिप्रेशन, एंजाइटी एंड दे आर एबल टू मेंटेन वेल, दे आर एबल टू फंक्शन, मतलब दवाई के साथ साथ दे आर एबल टू वर्क, गो फॉर वर्क रेगुलरली, उसमें देर इज़ नो नीड फॉर एनी अदर रिहेबिलिटेशन। ओनली थिंग इज़ कि फैमिली को काउंसलिंग की ज़रूरत होती है टू कीप देयर मोरल हाई, कि ठीक हो। मतलब कई बार क्या है कि फैमिली ही क्रिटिकल कमेंट्स दे देती है कि तुमसे ये भी नहीं होता है। तो वन हैज़ टू एजुकेट द फैमिली हाउ टू डील, हाउ टू रिस्पॉन्ड विद द प्रॉब्लम्स दैट द इंडिविजुअल इज़ फेसिंग। इट्स नॉट द फॉल्ट ऑफ द इंडिविजुअल कि उसको मेंटल इलनेस है। सेकेंड, कई जो सीवियर मेंटल डिसऑर्डर्स होते हैं, जैसा कि सर ने अभी बताया, उसमें बहुत लंबी जैसे बीमारी चल रही है, तो दवाई के अलावा देर इज़ ए इनर्शिया फॉर वर्किंग। और चाहे वो जैसे क्वालिफाइड इंजीनियर भी है, बट बिकॉज ऑफ द मेंटल इलनेस देयर वुड बी डिटोरेशन इन द कॉग्निटिव, ही विल नॉट बी एबल टू फंक्शन एज एन इंजीनियर और एज एन अकाउंटेंट। तो एक ऑल्दो द लीगल राइट्स इंश्योर दैट हिज job is secured, but at the same time one needs to maintain his level of functioning जितनी भी है, तो उसको कई बारी जैसे कॉन्फिडेंस नहीं है या उसका मन नहीं करता रेगुलर जाने में बिकॉज मेडिसिन हैं, सुबह वो स्लीपी है, ड्राउजी है, तो ऐसे में हाफ वे होम्स हैं जहाँ पे उनको कुछ कुछ डिफरेंट एक्टिविटीज़ में इंगेज किया जाता है और रात में दे कैन गो बैक टू देयर प्लेस. So but unfortunately in India we don't have many places where this facility is available. कई प्राइवेट नर्सिंग होम्स हैं जो लंबे तौर तक रखते हैं, बट हाफ वे होम इज़ अ वेरी गुड ऑप्शन बिकॉज वहाँ पे उनको इंगेज भी किया जाता है और दे आर बेसिकली इट्स अ स्टॉप वे सेंटर वेयर दे कैन अल्टीमेटली गो बैक टू द सोसाइटी एंड गेट इंटीग्रेटेड इन द सोसाइटी.
थैंक यू मैम, थैंक यू फॉर दैट वेरी इंफॉर्मेटिव एंड एजुकेटिव इंफॉर्मेशन. अब मैं अपने अवर सचिव जी से आग्रह करूंगा कि वे धन्यवाद ज्ञापन प्रस्तुत करें.
Thank you, sir. So, respected chairperson, sir, our esteemed spokespersons and all the participants, as now we are concluding this splendid and educative national webinar on mental health and access to justice. On behalf of Department of Justice, I would like to sincere thanks to all our esteemed spokesperson, Rajesh sir, our Rachna ma'am and Madan Gopal sir. Unfortunately, he left the VC due to some other engagement. We are very delighted that Rachna ma'am and sir gave us their time from their very busy schedule and enlightened us on the various aspects of mental health connecting with the justice, very beginning from the social aspects to legal aspects and then personal ways. So thank you again all both the speakers and Madan sir also. After that I would like to thank our chairperson for his valuable welcoming remarks connecting legal and constitutional aspects with the mental health and guiding us for this webinar. Thereafter we give sincere thanks to our director sir who just set the tone and just like जैसे एक नदी बहती है उसी फ्लो में वो वेबिनार को अपने साथ आगे लेकर जाते हैं. इसके अलावा हमारे साथ कनेक्टेड हुए वीसी के थ्रू जो भी कनेक्टेड हुए हैं, सीएससी के हमारे रिप्रेजेंटेटिव्स, वीएलईज, न्याय सहायक्स एंड नेशनल लॉ यूनिवर्सिटी से कनेक्टेड हमारे स्टूडेंट्स एंड प्रोफेसर्स. अपार्ट फ्रॉम दैट डिपार्टमेंट ऑफ जस्टिस से कनेक्ट यहाँ पर उपस्थित सारे ऑफिसर्स एंड ऑफिशियल्स, ऑल ऑफ यू थैंक यू वेरी मच. एंड इन द एंड हम बोलते हैं ना कि हिंदी में कुछ तो बोलना चाहिए. सो कनेक्टिंग मेंटल हेल्थ विद द लीगल एस्पेक्ट्स, आई एम जस्ट सेइंग कि लड़ रहा है जो खुद से उसे भी सहारा मिले, कानून की छाँव में हर टूटे मन को किनारा मिले. सो इसी के साथ मैं थैंक यू बोलता हूँ. थैंक यू.